let's break it. Let's go into this college edition. So USC, I know Taylor's ready to talk about this. Lincoln Riley is now 1-5 in his bowl games. So he might have took Oklahoma all the way to LA, but even in the city of stars, he's still a little starstruck when it comes to the bowl games. He is a great college coach, but how great is he if he can't get over that hump of winning a bowl game, especially against, listen, and everyone knows we love Tulane here at the booth, right? We got mad love for the Green Waves, but this is a game that with Caleb Williams and the amount of talent that USC has should have won, maybe not handedly because Tulane had a solid season, but they should have won. And the fact that, Lincoln Riley has lost a game he should have won. I know that hits home for you as an Oklahoma fan, Taylor, being in the playoffs a couple times in a couple bowl games as him as head coach, where maybe you guys should have won and that defense does not show up. And again, that defense did not show up in LA for the LA or USC. So Taylor, take that away. Let me give me your thoughts on that USC Tulane game, and just kind of let's talk about Lincoln Riley here.
Well, first we got to give credit to Caleb Williams because I don't know what he ended with, but he had 5 touchdowns when I was watching. Before it ended, I had to go out to town with the family, but Caleb Williams played a great game. I mean, we got to give him credit. You know, he's balling out. He balled out this year. He won the Heisman. I believe he was deserving of that award. So definitely want to shout him out. As far as Lincoln Riley, the biggest issue here is the defense, like you said. He took the same defense and the same defensive coordinator that we had in Oklahoma and then just took them out to LA, thought they were going to just flourish and be this national championship team. But you took the same game plan that you've had for the past, can't even remember how many years, and it's failed each and every single time. We play really good offense, but then we give up like 55 points when we only put up 50. That doesn't win you any games. It's a terrible play design, whatever you want to call it. It's horrible. I think Grinch is a terrible defensive coordinator, and moving into a different conference, you can't play Big 12 defense. Big 12 defense doesn't win national championships.
Yeah.
Hopefully TCU isn't going to be playing Big 12 defense against a Georgia team, because if they do, that's a wrap for you guys. But they've been playing really good defense, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah. I think with Oklahoma transitioning into the SEC and having ACC former defensive coordinator coming in and being able to – he's played against SEC teams in the championships and other games, so he knows how to build a defense. I think in the future Oklahoma's going to be set. But in order for Lincoln Riley and USC to actually amount to anything, get past that threshold, they're going to have to bring in like an SEC guy or somebody who's been able to go up against the SEC, you know, Big Five schools. You know, you got Alabama and all them. You know, if you can defend those guys, find one of those guys, bring them in, and I guarantee you they will absolutely demolish anybody that comes in front of them, because they have a really good defense. I mean, Caleb Williams is a great quarterback. Their wide receivers are filthy. Running back game is strong. Offensive line is great. But once you get on that defensive side of the ball, it's just, I mean, the weak points are just everywhere. So I don't know if it's so much on Lincoln Riley as a head coach or a terrible read of coaches that he's hiring, because, I mean,
he's not good with defensive coordinators, it seems.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, it literally, USC's season this year was Oklahoma's for like the past 5 years. It's just, you do really good, and then at the end of the season, when you face a team outside of your conference,
now
you got nothing for him.
I mean, I didn't watch too much Oklahoma football when he was there. As far as defense goes, I do remember you always complaining about your run defense, and the run defense for USC gave up 205 yards to Tajai Spears, and he had 4 touchdowns. He averaged 12 yards a carry. And then Shady, Clayton Johnson, who he hyped up when he transferred, he had 1 carry of 19 yards. So he didn't get too much touches, but he still got a 19-yard carry right there, which is a big chunk of change right there for only having one yard or 1 carry. So I think with USC, their issue, obviously it's not the offense, right? They have a stellar offense. They are going to be losing Jordan Addison to the NFL draft. They only have Caleb Williams 1 more year. I want to pose this question to you. Is the hire of Lincoln Riley a dud if he can't have, or he doesn't have Caleb Williams in at least the college playoffs next year? Like, if he doesn't bring his team to the college football playoffs with the arsenal that he has at USC and the upcoming freshman class that he has coming in, is he a dud as a hire?
I wouldn't say a dud within 2 years. I would say that it's going to be a disappointment with the team that they do have coming into next season, because they're not losing a bunch of vital parts that have made that offense what it is. So I would say that it would be a disappointment, and I know a lot of USC fans would kind of be upset, and a couple of Oklahoma fans are going to kind of be pointing and laughing like, yeah, now you guys are getting a taste of our medicine.
Yeah.
He did this for 5 years and then dipped out on us and ruined our entire program. He's going to do the same thing to you guys. But he's one of those coaches.
Here's the thing that worries me. I know Lincoln's a great recruiter, right? They've got a top 15 class, which to me, like, I know he's a great recruiter, and I know he's a good. I'm not going to say he's not a good head coach, but here's the issue. Like, they landed Malachi Nelson, who's the number 1 quarterback in the state of California, number 2 overall. They got Zachariah Branch, who put on a clinic at the Under Armour All-American game, returning a punt return, 90-something yards for a touchdown to put his team up top. They got Mekhi Lemon, who's a 5-star. I mean, they've got on the defensive line. So they've got some talent coming in, but when Norman, Oklahoma, is out recruiting you still, to me that's an issue, because you're in LA. That is not a hard pitch. Listen,
no.
Like, coming from someone who grew up in California, and I'm not a huge fan of LA or Norman, Oklahoma, as a recruit, I'm going, especially for the NIL opportunities. I'm going to LA. Especially because it's near Long Beach. It's a pretty area where USC is located at. So the fact that Oklahoma is sitting at the number 5 class according to 247 Sports, and USC sitting at 15, that slightly concerns me. Now there is obviously talent versus like quality over quantity. USC is sitting at a total of 20 commits. Oklahoma is sitting at 25. However, Oklahoma has got a solid class themselves. They just have a little more 3-stars. But to stick with USC, again, that concerns me. Yes, they got the number 1 receiver. They got potentially the number 1 quarterback in this 2023 class. And they have some solid foundational pieces coming in to replace Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison. They have Brennan Rice, Jerry Rice's son, for another year, who has looked solid since transferring from Colorado. But so you got Oregon killing it, Utah killing it, UCLA's on the uprise. They got Dante Moore, flipped him from Oregon. Do you still consider USC the top dog of the Pac-12 next year, or do you think there's going to be a little tighter conference than most people were giving credit to? Because right now, they've already basically gave Caleb Williams the Heisman next year at this point. Yeah. Like, he's hyped up, and deservingly so.
I think like a number 2 lock in the way too early predictions.
Yeah, and deservingly so. He's a solid quarterback. But is it going to be a closer race in the Pac-12 than we think it is, or is it just USC's to lose?
I would say if Utah can capitalize on this season, it'll definitely be a closer race than just USC at the top, because now that conference is starting to become a little more of a I want to get there kind of conference because of USC and UCLA. Those 2 schools had a really good season, and now it's starting to be a little more like enticing to recruit. So like, hey, they're starting to get on the up and up. They used to be kind of like a conference, but now it's kind of like, all right, now we got a Heisman Trophy winner. We have USC, who pretty much almost made the college football playoffs. UCLA, who had a really good season. Utah just came out and smacked around the number one team in that conference,
Yeah.
USC, and pushed them out of the playoffs. I mean, it's a tight knit group right now, and if those teams can capitalize on what they produce this season, it's going to be a fun conference to watch, and I think it's going to be really enticing for players to want to go and play.
So my
So
question is,
I don't think USC is going to be like right now. I don't think I can say USC is going to be the number one team
so
in that
way
conference.
so way too early predictions, right? And I'll give my prediction after you give yours. Who wins? And this is way too early, but who wins the Pac-12 next year, and why?
I mean, as it sits right now, I'm just going to say USC. And I'm going to say that because Caleb Williams and the type of player he is, this was his first season as a starter uh, from the beginning. I think the way that he prepares himself for games is a very like in depth, fully organized. Puts his mind 100% to what he wants to succeed. And if he's able to do that with his teammates and get them in the same mindset and be like, hey, we messed up last season. We're a new team. This is our first year all together. Let's lock in. Let's all get on the same page. And then Lincoln Riley goes out and finds a new defensive coordinator or figures out that. I think USC is 100% going to take it if they can get on the same page and get that defense fixed. If they cannot get that defense fixed and Utah is able to capitalize on the season they just had, and they can get a nice quarterback in there, because I can't remember if
Cam Rising, I believe, is leaving for the NFL. I think he's out of.
okay.
I think he's out, and that's the reason why I was gonna say Utah, but I think that's the reason why I'm kind of hesitant because I don't know who they've really got stepping in.
If they get somebody
stepping
that's
in.
able to come into that position and either be just as good or better, Utah has a good shot. Because I mean, they were able to, I think twice, they were able to pinpoint the weaknesses in that defense and their offense, and able to pick and prod and beat them and push them out of the playoffs. So they have USC's number. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past Utah to take it, but as of right now, I'll say USC, just because of the pieces that they already have and being able to get one more year under their belt as a full team. I think they got it.
Yeah, so I do like USC. However, they're not going to be my choice just because I've seen Lincoln Riley in big time games. Kind of, again, maybe you say it's defense, but as a head coach, you play a part in that. I don't know if I trust Lincoln Riley. I want to go Oregon because Bo Nix is returning. He's got a 70% completion percentage, which is outrageous. Way better than when he was at Auburn.
Yeah.
I think Oregon's
Completely
a fast
different
team.
player.
Yeah, completely different player. I think Oregon way suits him better than Auburn ever did. But
Yeah.
I think he's a solid quarterback, probably a future backup quarterback. I'm not going to put him out there as a starter or anything. I know Oregon fans are like, oh, Bo Nix for 6. Yeah, he's great. And he is a solid quarterback. I think Oregon has the tools, the speed, and the defense to stop USC. But a sleeper, I know. Listen, it's going to be Dion Primetime's first year as a P5 coach in the Pac-12. They have Shadur Sanders. They're going to have Travis Hunter. They might potentially, I don't know if you saw the Under Armour All-American game, Cormani McClain was semi-hesitant when he said that he was going to go to Miami.
Even say semi-hesitant. He was like, "Who's on your list?" And he was like, Miami. And then he was like, Miami, the only score, there are others. And he was like,
my man was a little dazed. Now he was seen wearing a Ohio State cap during the game as well. So that wasn't even made his list. So the big thing for him, side note, is that he said he wants to play early, which I don't think he's ready to. He's only 165 pounds. He's 6'1", 165. While he is a great technician, I think he needs to add a little more weight. Specifically,
if people were books, that man would be a thriller because.
Yeah,
every time he's talking or he's brought up into a story, it's like, where is this man going to go?
Yeah, I don't. And Sharif Denson, again, side note, close friend of Kamani. He's committed to Florida, he said, my man just need to pick a school because right now, like, he's like, basically, I'm going to, and I don't have the direct quote in front of me. So if you guys are interested in it, just look on Twitter, look up Sharif Denson.
I think he said he was gonna announce his commitment on the 12th or the 15th of this month.
15th is Kamani McLean's commitment, and that's because that's the last day to enroll at whatever school he plans on to. He's trying to enroll early, so that's last cutoff for spring enrollee. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think he's going to Ohio State, but he said he wants to play early. I guess Miami would be it because they lost a lot of transfers. They could go to Colorado, Pac-12. Maybe he's got more of a Pac-12 ready size, and, he wants to play for Dion. That would be a tenacious, little corner there. Travis Hunter, Kamani McLean. Alabama, Richard Young just tweeted out about a couple hours ago at Kamani McLean, and they already got Desmond Ricks, who's the number 2 corner in this class. He's saying, hey, man, you know where home is. Come to Alabama. Desmond Ricks and the Kamani McLean combo would be pretty stellar. So Colorado gets that Kamani McLean. They have Travis Hunter. They have Shedeur Sanders. They got Kevin Coleman. They've got a plethora of talent coming in. They are bringing Louis. They got a lot of 4-star, 5-star transfer defensive linemen, offensive linemen. So they're getting big up front. That could be my sleeper. I just don't see it year one. I think they'll win about 6 games for them. Year one, Dion Prime is a solid start. Just because it's going to take some time. They got Edwards, who was originally committed to Notre Dame, and runs like a 4.3 40 at running back. But you can't expect a bunch of freshmen to win you a bunch of games. So that would be my sleeper. It is the Pac-12. They're not as good as maybe the other conferences. They are better than ACC, but I don't know. That's my give up. I'm saying Oregon. You saying USC, correct?
Correct.
All right, guys. That's it for that segment of Lincoln Riley Pac-12 kind of nonsense there. That video will be put out, obviously. We kind of break these videos up in sections on our YouTube, so if you don't want to watch the whole podcast, you can kind of see important segments we want to talk about. Another